education, people living with disability, and so many things in this country survive based on charitable funds getting from outside the world. Looking at the government policies, with government do little or nothing to plan for this vulnerable group. So charitable activities met urgent needs such as food, shelter, healthcare, and education for vulnerable group.
As the world continues to recover from economic and social disruptions, the spirit of charity serves as a reminder that collective action and compassion are powerful tools in building better future for all. On this International Day of Charity, no matter how big or small, every act of giving counts. From lending a helping hand to supporting charitable causes, we can all play a part in making the world a kinder place. Victoria Ogbaki, reporting for Voice of the People TV.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
All right, welcome to another edition of the Locker Room Voice of the People Television. I am Jerry High. Saying welcome today. So much to talk about after that draw against the Bafana of South Africa. A lot of reactions have started pouring in. The South Africans are really excited, but on the part of the Nigerians, who is the most populous black nation, talking about Nigeria, the Nigerians are not really excited with what happened out there at the Bloemfontein Stadium in faraway South Africa. It ended 1-1, means that the Super Eagles' chances of qualifying for the World Cup has become a dream. But let's see how that pans out, because it's a full house today. We're taking a look at what happened in Bloemfontein. Of course, we're here on Locker Room yesterday as we x-ray the game as much as we can during the time the program permitted us. And of course, we also saw the reactions after that. But today, we're looking at what went wrong. The NFF is talking, and of course, Nigerians are talking. Experts are already also talking. The NFF is not left out of the talk because they are the major talkers. They're the biggest talkative right now. And definitely you have to hear them because they run the affairs of football in Nigeria. And of course, Hafiz makes a return today. He was with me yesterday on the program as we take a look at the match in the first 45 minutes of that game when the Super Eagles conceded against the Bafana. Hafiz, it's great to have you join us once again.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening to the viewers. I mean, is it more of like a dream, or let's say that it's just something fading away? I mean, it's like our calculators are not working.
You know, when you dream, it's not reality. So you can't just dream like it would have happened. That is a nightmare. This dream now, maybe it's a nightmare.
Yeah, realistically, I think going into that game, we thought we could pull something out, but seeing the performance of the boys, I mean, at some point, it was just like, you just had to scratch your eyes. It was a lethargic performance. Like, I don't know, you saw the game, we all saw the game. In the 67th minute, we saw the way the South Africans were relaxed, like they knew that a point was okay for them. While we that we were chasing the 3 points, we were also relaxed. There was no eye press, nobody was pressing the keeper. The keeper had a lot of options, you know, to pass to. They were controlling the ball. Banking on that first half, after we got the equalizer, I thought we were going to like go more, you know, into the second half. We all had this positive vibe about us going into the second half that, okay, we will come at the South Africans, but then it just appeared so shambolic and all that. And I think Eric Chell, we are going to go into all of that, but then I think Eric Chell noticed the mistakes he made in the first half, but unfortunately he couldn't save the match, and he couldn't save our position on the table. I mean, Benin Republic did their job against Lesotho, and now we are back to where we were. And I just hope that in our next 2 games we could get a positive result that can, because it's looking really, really bleak right now. But then we hope we can get something out of it at the end of the day.
All right, we already have a usual suspect with us, talking about Coach Dan. Only Dan Corky is here with us virtually. I had to bring him in because he's an expert when it comes to the technicalities of the game, and of course a grassroots man when it comes to football across the board. And of course, Coach, it's great to have you join us once again. We were supposed to have you last week, but unfortunately my responsibilities are becoming too much because getting to do the production and of course being involved with the sworn elections and so on and so forth makes it really, really, really tough at times. Production is really overwhelming, but it's great to have you join us once again. Coach, I know you saw the game. I've been following your reactions before the game, after the game, and so on and so forth. So far, so good. What do you think?
I think so far we're down and out. No, Nigeria, I think so many things went wrong from the beginning. We were supposed to have a vibrant approach to the game, and we started late. And it's so unfortunate that we have to blame ourselves, and we have to go back to the drawing board as normally we used to say. But I think at this moment, we have to look in and take radical changes. The choice of coaches, possibly the choice of players, and to sit down and look at a new beginning. Because as it stands, the World Cup ticket looks very, very bleak. We just have a 15 to 20% chance of making the World Cup, because the whole thing is not in our hands. Even as the best losers, we have teams that are already on 18 points, 17, 16, 15 points with 2 games to go, while we are on 11 points, and the highest we can finish is 17. We could win our next 2 games. So you can see it's very, very bleak. And the NFF and the Busol-led team will be thinking that, well, this is not our fault, and we don't have a choice. It all happened because of a reason. But logically, I don't think Nigerians should put all the blame on the NFF. I think other factors played in. Let me give you an example. Yes, the field, you saw the field yesterday. After serious protests from the NFF and bodies, you saw the field yesterday. It was looking like a rice plantation. And Nigerian players are top professionals, and probably that's the strategy the South African use just because their president, the president of CAF, is from South Africa, and you can see all these politics being played in, and some people might not understand and put the whole blame on the NFF. Believe me, if the field was that good enough, I think the Super Eagles might have a very good chance of winning that game. But all I said from the beginning, we lost momentum, and we just have to lick our wounds while we think about the future and how to change things while moving forward.
All right, Coach, I want to bring you to the hot seat. You said the NFF should not be blamed, but the NFF has started throwing the first blame. They said who has committed no sin should be the first to cast a stone, just like the story of Jesus and Mary Magdalene, if I'm correct. And the NFF has been the first to cast a stone on Ceredesus, and even faulted the inclusion of William TROOST-EKONG, scoring the own goal. The NFF, coming from a part of the NFF.
Well, Jerry, let me make it clear. It's not the first time the media team of the NFF are writing articles about players. Sometimes they praise players. But I think why we're looking at this, because we're hurt as Nigerians. We feel hurt. We feel Nigerians. We feel the NFF could have done better, and as well the players. So I think it's a case of looking at who to blame and looking at phrases from a media script to pick blames on. Because for me, I feel analysis from a media point of view, especially from the media department for NFF, trying to justify what might have gone through on a clearer perspective, I think it's pure journalism. I think it's a clearer perspective on justification. And I think as a player and as a professional, taking criticism shouldn't be negative. It should be constructive. So I think if you look at the deep line, I think there was nothing wrong with such a script or such a blame game. But I just feel everything the NFF is being justified. The only thing is, I think we should prepare early, take on the right cones to put it in the right place for the team to move on in the future. Especially now that the women teams are doing well, and we have the under 17 and under 20 to look at in the World Cup. So I think there's a lot of hope to look ahead in the future. So let's forget what had happened in the past and face the future at this moment.
Okay.
Yeah, Coach Afis here. You mentioned something about blame game and excuses. I just wanted to take you back to what you mentioned about the state of the stadium. I think when we're at the Gospel Abagbe Stadium in Uyo, which has a better pitch, I mean, we just got one home win in our qualifiers so far. I mean, that to me doesn't really have much to say about the quality of the football, because we played on a better pitch and still couldn't get the results. I mean, we got draw against Lesotho and I think South Africa as well. So I think that excuse of the pitch being poor, to me, I think it sounds weak. I think because looking at the game, the players just didn't play.
A good pitch or bad pitch, is this the same performance? So even if they're given the Maracana Stadium or Wembley, are we going to expect a different performance? That's what Afis is asking, Coach.
Okay, you saw the urgency in the game yesterday.
Yeah.
For the first time, we saw Eric Chelle making out all his 5 changes. We saw Eric Chelle almost for the first time making a change in the second half. Immediately, second half started, he made 2 changes, and that's to tell you the urgency and the vibrancy of the team to get a result in South Africa, coupled with the antics. You saw how they were falling, slowing the game down.
Yeah.
But as I rightly said, yeah, the field had so much patches. It looked like a rascal, and it wasn't good for our boys to play good football. But I solely say yes. You made a point. In Uyo, they had a good feel and they couldn't play well. But at this point now, the urgency was high, the stakes were high, and we didn't have what it takes to get the job done. We didn't have the feel, and we didn't have the results from the past to support the momentum moving forward.
Coach,
so I think it's a holistic problem.
It's a holistic problem.
Coach, don't you think it's the same? It's the same
already
politics
the damage
you
has
can play.
been done.
Don't
So
you think it's the same politics you can play in Nigeria?
Yeah, we have to blame ourselves entirely. Yeah.
Hey, now we understand that Maiwa is now with us. Maiwa, it's great to have you join us. And the NFF have been the first to cast the first stone. They're blaming Sir Desas and William TROOST-EKONG. I, for one, was confused. Why did William TROOST-EKONG start that game? That was the first thing I noticed that I was really asked about. And unfortunately, he was the one who scored the own goal, because the Super Eagles, as far as I'm concerned, South Africa did not play anything. They were just trying to make the game ugly. That was just their plan. And the Super Eagles helped them in scoring the 2 goals. Yeah, the own goal was scored by the Super Eagles. Yeah. Their own goal was scored by the Super Eagles. And ours are definitely added by TROOST-EKONG.
Could have been cancelled if there was VAR. Put that in.
Okay, he is saying that the goal should be cancelled if there was VAR. Talking about the Super Eagles goal.
Well, it's always amazing to me. I think Afis is very right. If you look at that particular goal that BLASTS scored, the ball actually touched his hand. If there were VAR, that goal would need to be chopped off. So I think VAR, with VAR not being there, played into our hands. If you look at the replay again, we do not deserve that particular goal. However, I came in when coach was saying, it's important that media team of the NFF, sometimes if you look at the press release, they go at players and the rest of that. But I want to disagree wholeheartedly. And this is very simple. If the media team of the NFF will maintain the same energy of criticizing players, then they criticize the NFF. The NFF got us into this mess. They are playing they are doing a blame game now, right now, when we have lost the ticket. If the media team could write anything about the players and start, casting aspersions, then they should first of all throw that at the NFF board. I read the press release and I was so disappointed. Why are you picking up player? Yes, we said this yesterday when we were watching the game, when we were following the game live, that the TROOST-EKONG shouldn't have started the game. The pairing in the game against Rwanda was way better than TROOST-EKONG. We talked about TROOST-EKONG pace and start to bite us. Yes, understandably. However, the media team of the NFF do not have any right, do not have any justification to criticize any player. If you are not singling out the people that caused this debacle in the first place, the same NFF that it took them 11 months to appoint a new coach, the same NFF that it took them, they appointed about 4 audio coaches for us before they decided to go for the same election that they left alone, the same NFF that did not appoint Finidi George until some few days to our qualifier. I mean, where do we start apportioning the blame? As far as I'm concerned, nobody should blame the boys. Nobody should blame them. The people who are supposed to be blamed is NFF. Let me even shock you. I was talking to somebody from, that has connection with FIFA, and we're talking about the deduction of points and the rest of that. Remember when we played the World Cup qualifier that year? I can't remember the qualifier now. That Algeria protested, and 3 points were taken off.
Yeah.
The article in the FIFA business as regards protest requires you to raise an objection within 24 hours. What happened in the case of that, or in that case, was because Algeria raised an objection in 24 hours. They paid the normal amount, and FIFA had to investigate, and points were deducted. When we knew we were not doing well? What were the guys in the NFF doing and not monitoring other things?
No, if they are giving the NFF money, they will still chalk that money and say no need.
They are complying. Another important thing that we raised consistently: why did the NFF keep quiet when there were obvious conflict of interest? Why did they keep quiet? Did they just know that there's conflict until we started raising it on this show? That's when people started talking about it. So, as far as I'm concerned, the press release from the media team of the NFF, it left a bad taste in my mouth, and that's what they've been doing. They did it in the case of Finidi George, made Finidi George a scapegoat. Now they are singling out CYRIEL Desel, they are singling out TROOST-EKONG, which is not right. If you are going to blame anybody, let's blame the NFF. After we blame the NFF, then we can start talking about the players. So for me, the press release is wrong. I don't think the media team did a good job, and they should not be doing that. It doesn't. It doesn't speak well.
Yeah, Hafiz, don't you think it's wrong timing? The media team could actually do it after maybe a week or so. Is it their job to start giving assessments at that point in time? I think there are times there's something we call crisis management.
Yes.
If the media team understand crisis management, they know this is not the time to release any report or such. They should have just gone, maybe just say the Super Eagles played a draw, leave it there.
I think it's
instead of doing assessments, you're trying to throw blames.
Yeah.
Because if you take a look at the history of, let's take a look at that game holistically.
Yeah.
The way the formation and the setup of the team was already looking like the super. Well, I don't want to say any stupid person. Anybody who understands the Super Eagles will know that the selection already,
from the look of the lineup,
you already know that this lineup is going to have problems. And coach, what do you think about the lineup? Bringing in TROOST-EKONG to start that game after the decent defending we had against Rwanda, was it a mistake to alter that defense lineup ahead of the game against a South African side who are pacey, who can run for 90 minutes?
Yeah.
And TROOST-EKONG has issues with pace. We already know that prior to the last Nations Cup and up till now, they've been managing that. We saw that issue against Zimbabwe.
Yes.
And it seems like, I don't know, maybe there's a plan under, I don't know, to sabotage the plans of the Super Eagles, because this is a really confusing tactics against the South Africans, which is a very crucial match, starting TROOST-EKONG and playing Calvin Bassey out of position.
Exactly, when you have two
playing
people
Benjamin
that
Frederick out of position, starting CYRIEL
instead of Tolu
in a game that requires physical football. CYRIEL is not used to physical football, playing alone. He needs to be fed. The South Africans were going to clip your wings. Any coach who understands, even me, I'm pained. CYRIEL is supposed to know these easy things. He should have prepared for that. So, altering a lot of things, I don't know, maybe it was doing Pep Guardiola who overthinks, but at least Pep Guardiola will know this 1 + 1 is 2. You should understand this, coach.
Well, for sure, you asked me from my own candid point of view.
Yeah.
I think if I was a coach, I don't think I would change a winning team. I think the team that defeated Rwanda, especially in the second half, I'll go with that. But you look at the dynamics of the team, you know that Tolu Okudaro, our goal scorer, is a very good substitute. He always comes in the second half. But remember, he came in against Russia and got a goal. He came in against Rwanda in the second half and he got a goal. Yeah. So I think they were working on such dynamics and such platforms to see how they can project the team to get results. While in the defense line, and that is the most confusing and complicated, I think we saw one of the best defensive pairings in the acts of Calvin Bassey and Benjamin Frederick. They were so solid recovery-wise. They had a very, very robust and excellent combination. And asking me why did Eric Chelle change that synergy in the team, I think it's a bit confusing. And that's one question I would love to ask Eric Chelle. Why did she do so? And you talked about CYRIEL Dessers. I think if you watch CYRIEL Dessers very well, you watch him in the Scottish League, he is one sleeky player. And yes, the injury of Osimhen affected the team entirely. The whole plan of the coaches changed. But as a good coach, you must have a vibrant plan B, and that's why you have players on the bench. So apart from Tolu and CYRIEL Dessers, I think Dessers for me should have started strongly. He has been given a chance. Don't forget, he was substituted when we played against Rwanda in Uyo, and he was brought in and still substituted back. So that's to tell you that he's struggling with African
football. He's struggling with pace and African football. So why not start in a crucial game? That's the question.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, starting Tolu might not be a real key, because we already know him as a super sub. So the coaches were looking at it from that dual angle. So I feel the damage has already been done. We saw the mistakes, and I think let's just move on. As for me, I'm just trying to forget what happened yesterday, and let's see how we move forward as a team. and let's hope things change for the better in the future.
And see how we move forward. Where do we move forward from? This is back to back already a situation where the Super Eagles should not be going to World Cup, and to the detriment of the fact that, for instance, I think I feel bad that Africa will be going to the World Cup. Out of that group.
Yeah.
Forget that I'm a Nigerian.
Yes.
The quality of the Nigerian team head to head against the South Africans, if we have things done properly.
Of course, we should be the ones going.
We should be the Super Eagles team should be representing Africa, not that South African team. That South African team, I don't know.
Actually, there's nothing really special about the South African team. But we didn't do our jobs, and it was clear. I mean,
yeah, we didn't do what we supposed to do.
Look at what the NFF is doing. I will call it. It's really, really bad. It's really embarrassing. You are pointing out players, but you didn't call out the coach that set up the formation and the tactics. He said he wanted to start with CYRIEL, that's fine. But he also started with progressive ball carriers who didn't even do anything. I was talking about Fisaya Dole Bashiru, who is a good ball carrier, but he didn't even get the chance to do well. We won the midfield, especially in the first half. Alex Iwobi was getting the ball very well, but there we could see from the game, he wasn't even, giving the passes. Sometimes he looked confused. He looked like he had like 10 seconds to think of where to pass the ball to. Desas was clipped, just like you said, because it's like he functions more of a lone striker that needs to be fed. He was a lone striker, but he wasn't even getting the ball. And the South Africans knew that when they get the ball, they switch to the wing. In fact, there was this particular player, Mbokazi, I think was the man of the match. He did really, really well. Isolating Bright Osai Samuel, who came on for Olaino as well. Who was the winger that was with no extra body on the right wing? It was just so clear. I mean, for Nigerians at home to be seeing what Eric Chell could not see, it shows that it's really, really bad. And you can't be coming out listening a statement like that, pointing fingers at somebody now, just like the morning after what happened. I mean, it's really, really bad on the NFF. It's painting a bad picture, and then it's Nigeria.
It shows that it's not about whether you have the skillful players alone. You also need to do the job. I think the NFF went to sleep knowing that since you have Osimhen, you have Ademola Lookman.
They've turned the team to Osimhen and Inshallah, actually.
They just said, since you have Osimhen, Lookman, you don't need to do any other thing. They went to sleep. Gosol was busy. I don't know. Is that, I think, anyway, I'm waiting for the next election. Because I know Gosol is not going to enjoy second term. This is already a deal breaker as far as him being enjoying another term in that office, because
you shouldn't even have to be told, actually.
Yeah,
because
I think his assessment so far has proven to be a failure. Maiwa.
Well, it's very simple. Remember, I said this about, I think, 3 or 4 months ago, and people wanted to remove my head in the comment section. I said we do not deserve to go to the World Cup, and that's just the honest truth.
Yeah,
we do not deserve to go to the World Cup.
Yeah.
Of course.
If we had qualified, we will not know the gravity of work we have to put in. And kudos to South Africa. Even at this point, we are not even sure of getting a second place that will give us the advantage to play in the playoff, because other groups, the likely second teams, they have better point advantage than us. So as far as I'm concerned, I think
we didn't waste 24 hours as second before Benin took it back.
I think our chances of qualifying is done and dusted. And kudos to South Africa. We did not prepare, and because we did not prepare, we are reaping the result. Now let's go back to those running our football. We've said it consistently. The way those running our football have handled our football in the last 2-3 years has been very appalling. And I'm going back to the various state FAs. When the election, when Congress will be called for election, we will not be there. They will be the one to represent the interest of over 200 million Nigerians to vote the right person in. I mean, this is enough reason for them to do the right thing. I hope when the next Congress is called, it will not be like the last time that Gusau was there giving himself glowing review, and everybody sat down there and they were clapping for him. The one that was held in Lagos, I think last year or 2 years ago, and everybody was clapping for him, and nobody was able to challenge him.
No, they won't challenge
we are seeing the result right now.
The NFF is like a mafia. They will not challenge you. When the elections time start coming, you will see the handwriting on the wall. You don't need to be told, because if you take a look at it, as far as I think I saw Amaju Pinnick granting an interview. I didn't want to pay attention to it because
what does he have to say, really?
Because for me, I think he would have had one or two things to do politically to make sure that Nigeria had qualified. But I think along the line, somehow it seems like he withdrew. Maybe he was having some bit of, how would I say, some rejection and Gasol not wanting to listen to him again. Because I still know for a fact that the information has it that he had a hand in the bringing of Finidi in as a coach.
Okay.
And trying to bring in, what was the man's name, Labadia, that failed.
Yeah.
You know, if you see how all the mess up,
coaches.
the Labadia issue, the other Sweden coach, the former Sweden coach, I can remember the names of coaches that was paraded. Pesero coming back, you know, how they made a mess of just an employment of a coach. You know, how they were drawing against Lesotho, struggling against Rwanda and Zimbabwe, and so on and so forth.
This is a where we should be negotiating easily.
Yeah, the plan from the onset was looking like, let this team not qualify for the World Cup. Because it looks like we didn't learn from the facts.
So that we can point fingers. And now we are pointing fingers. And the qualifier is not even over yet.
I think I'm really pissed. Anyway, former Nigerian international team has described the Super Eagles players as average. And of course, seen expressed sadness that the team is on the verge of missing another World Cup appearance, citing a lack of creativity and players who can confidently take on opponents one-on-one. Coach, do you agree with Etimesin? Is it unfair to rate these players average, that they can't take on players one-on-one?
Want to blame the NFF. I keep on saying this. First of all, you have to look at our Nigerian players. Most of them do well in the European clubs. For example, Iwobi, you know, if you see Iwobi in Fulham, he's a world-class player in Fulham, but when he comes to Nigeria, he finds it difficult to replicate his work. Same thing with Desias. If you see Desias in the Scottish League, he is explosive. You see Ola Inatu, even though he had a good game, these two international rounds, but somehow they don't replicate that high standard we see. That's to tell you there's something about African football. To adapt to African football, club level, and it's not easy. So I think the players too should take some of the blame. And political wise, I think, so you're asking, is he coming back? Do people want him? Is the Congress going to vote him in? I think if you look at, when you're looking at Nigerian football, it's not a Super Eagles team. I don't think the Super Eagles are the lifeline of Nigerian football. No, you saw what our women team did. I think that's something we should be proud of. And the under-17 are training in camp. Very soon they'll be going for the qualifiers. While the under-20 have qualified for the World Cup in Chile. They're going there in a couple of weeks. So I think holistically, if we want to criticize the system, we have to look at the whole spheres of the team. We have to look at the women, the cadet team, and the Super Eagles. And for me, I think what should be worrying is the state of our league. That's the Nigerian Professional Football League. You saw what Sudan did to us, and this is more worrisome. But all things put in the past, if you look at other teams, that can shape in and give Gusau a good backing. But I think he has learned from his lessons, and I think another tenure might just be something good for him to learn and maybe fix the system. So that's my own opinion. Yeah. And I know a lot of people might just go against that. But if we are to criticize, let's look at it holistically while we look at the holes that are there and see how we fix it constructively.
Maiwa, coach has said he should use the NFF to learn and do better in another 4 years. I don't know. Anyway, I think, coach, with all due respect, I respect your opinion very well. But I don't know. Yeah, the Super Falcons did well, and so on and so forth. But in the minds of Nigerians, the Super Eagles is the creme de la creme.
Yes.
The FIFA World Cup is the creme de la creme. Absolutely. I remember when, was it Galadima, who said it's not the birthright of the Super Eagles to be at the World Cup. I know what happened to him. We know the story.
Yeah.
And I remember how Amaju Pinnick was crying at the NFF Congress prior to the election. Because they told him, if Super Eagles not qualified World Cup, you're on your way out. The Super Falcons, they were winning trophies. under Amaju Pinnick.
Yeah.
The under 17 dwindled under his time. The under 20 days great teams dwindled. Under his time, we started relying on age grade teams. Okay, maybe we can say Gasol is doing something to patch up that aspect, but I will not give him the glory.
For releasing statements like this, it's even something that can lead to him not coming back, because
I won't give him that glory. Gasol has there's no imprint to show that Gasol is really on board. Take a look at hiring of a coach for the Super Eagles.
Yeah.
So do you need rocket science? Do you need to be the best NFF president in the world to hire as much as possible? This is a team, I keep saying it. This team hiring a coach would have been very easy if we had an NFF president who knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because this team just made it to the final of the Nations Cup.
This team is not a bad team.
So this team is already marketable.
Yes.
If you go to anybody and say this team getting to the final, I want them to reach the semi-final of the World Cup. Oga, all the billionaires in Nigeria, please, this team, I want to build on this. Get me a world-class coach. I'm telling you, a lot of Nigerians, in the excitement of that team making it to a final disappointingly, I want them to win the next Nations Cup. They will drop money.
They will make their investments,
and you can pay.
Course.
Yes,
right.
You can pay for a coach for the next 8 months. But what did they do? They mismanaged the sacking of Pesero. Were dribbling themselves about. They made a mess of that opportunity.
I think they're just looking for a yes man, and they've gotten their yes
man. They made a mess of that
opportunity,
Maiwa.
Honestly, they've gotten their yes man in the chair.
I mean, let's even, before I say what else, let's even go back to the Super Falcons. The Super Falcons that won the last tournament, how did they get there? Did they not? Were there not huge complaints about how they were treated?
Is it not? And so on.
Is it not a private individual, a private citizen in Ogun State here, in Ijebu, that decided to camp them for a while before that particular tournament? So the thing is this: Yorubas will say, Saturday to Bamada, at Friday Latimamo, at Jimo Latimamo. Meaning, if a Saturday will be very good, you already know by Friday you already have the money in your pocket to spend on Saturday. The indications are there. Another 4 years for Gusau will result in another disaster. We will be here sitting down here again in the next 4 years and talking and discussing how we not make it to the World Cup. He has shown enough sign that he does not know how to run football. How do you mismanage hiring of a coach? Apart from that, remember we were supposed to play Argentina a top friendly at a particular point in time, and because of documentation, we could not get that match sorted.
Yes.
And we are talking about for another 4 years. No. I think if it was to be in Senna climb, the moment it was confirmed yesterday that we are not going to the World Cup,
you
should have resigned.
You should have resigned. If you have the interest of Nigerian football at heart, you should have resigned. How do you run an organization like 78-year-old? How do you run it like a mushroom, like a store around the corner? To be honest with you, I don't think he knows what he's doing in terms of running football. And if we continue to look at him, he's going to kill our football. And that's also, we are talking about revolutionizing our league. We saw what happened to us in China.
Is it Gosol that is going to revolutionize that league when he cannot handle the simple as getting a coach?
Just getting a coach.
Is it the same person that is going to revolutionize the league? That's the question, coach. If we cannot get as simple as hiring a coach for the Super Eagles, how are we going to even be able to have an NFF that will manage the league situation? I know that the likes of Owumi is doing their best, but what we've seen so far, we cannot even present a team that can challenge for Confederations Cup, not to talk of even CAF Champions League anymore. Back in the days, we used to talk about CAF Champions League. The coefficient of African football right now, Nigerian league is nowhere to be found.
First of all, Jerry, you talked about, I want to talk about hiring of a coach, what happened, the politics behind it. Don't forget, while Gusau and his NFF team were trying to get a coach for Nigeria, there was so much obstruction from the federal government through the NSC, through the Minister of Sports then, some years back. And you can see how difficult it is for an NFL president under such lights to get funding, to get support, to get a world-class coach. And when we talk about a world-class coach, me and you know what it takes to bring a world-class coach. It takes a lot of funding, it takes a lot of money, and it takes a lot of logistics, and it takes a lot of organization to bring the likes of Moriho and other people that could change the system for us. But Gusau proposed, I vividly remember Gusau proposed some names that the federal government, through the NSC and through the Ministry of Sports, couldn't affirm or couldn't support. So what does he do? What can he do? You can see the bureaucracy in the system, how it affects honest and genuine will to change the system. And this is what we keep on fighting. But peradventure, he is not here. We are bound to see the same things. So we need a system that is fluid, that is understanding to project the right people to build the system. I know Charlie wasn't the first choice of Gusau. I know Pizarro wasn't the first choice of the NFF then. But because of the bureaucracy in the system and the thoughts of the federal government on saying there's no money, we can't afford this, that has brought us down amidst of a circle of great players and world-class players in the system. And you can see, why should you blame the NFF? Just because they didn't voice out? And for me, I think they deserve a pardon and a looking, and they deserve some softer thoughts, and possibly if they come in the second tenure, in the second 4 years to come, I think maybe they might have learned a lesson. But I think we shouldn't blame them totally. It's a systematic problem, and all of us know what's happening, and we have to acknowledge that, and let's see how we fix it together.
All right,
that's
damage done.
That's damage done, and he's trying to do damage control. Because for me, I mean, not just being able to negotiate Nigeria's qualification to the World Cup. It was under you that we did not have a coach for about 3 to 4 months, and you were not saying anything about it. You were saying you were looking for 11 months. Thank you.
Almost a year.
Close to a year, we don't have a manager. We don't have a coach. We just keep recycling the same names that we were using. And
you made a fool of Nigerians posting the application for coaches,
just like you said,
on social media. First time in history. Benin Republic will never do that
at all. I mean, it's just enough for
posting
him.
applications to coach the Super Eagles.
If he really has our interest, he will just resign.
Some fact, I applied and they didn't get back to me.
On social media? Who does that? Even Ikorodu City will not do that. At least they know where the coaches are.
And for you to be doing it at the national level, I think if he has our interest as arts, and he knows that, okay, I wanted to actually do something, I wasn't allowed to do it. Let me just resign and let somebody do it.
Let's not even say only the likes of Felix Siago is also the vice president of the. They also have a whole role to play. Talking about the board, the entire board. Because a tree cannot make the forest. He needs those around him too. It don't help matters.
Under his management, such statements shouldn't even be coming out.
He's really
trying to point fingers. When you knew that you are the base, you know what was wrong, and you are still trying to point fingers at somebody.
Eric Chair says that.
That's actually embarrassing, and it's enough for him to resign. To be very, very honest. Okay, if you know that you are the one who had something in mind to do, but you were not allowed to do it, then excuse and let's
resign. That means because you are going to take the blame at the end of the day.
You're going to take the blame. You should
resign
know that.
honorably and let somebody else do it.
This Eric Chair that we are blaming, who put him there?
Anyway, Eric Chair says that the team can still qualify for the 2026 World Cup.
Of course.
And he said that the result has put a dent in Nigerians' chances, with the team now 6 points behind leader South Africa in Group C. And Chair remains optimistic, stating that his players are professionals and will aim to win the remaining 2 games. He has had 2 draws and 1 win in 3 games.
In 8 games?
No, talking about the qualifiers. In 4 games, yeah? No, is it 3 games now? Zimbabwe. Okay, Rwanda, he won Rwanda.
Yeah, he beat Rwanda. With,
home and away.
Home and away. So he had 2 wins. 2 wins and 2 draws. I mean, he's gotten a possible 8 points out of 12.
That means the next one will be 1 win, 1 draw too.
And I think the game against Benin is just something that can give him that kind of an opportunity, because it's going to be a crunch match, but it depends on what the damage that will have been done. Are we even winning our next game? That's the first question before we play Benin. I think we are playing Benin last. So are we winning our next game? Because any win for Benin right now, that is all for Nigeria, to be very honest. Because they are on 14, we are on 11, and it's just 2 games to go. If they get a win, they will be on 17 points, and they'll still be leading us with 6 points regardless. you know, of our last game,
Really
and the goals difference as well. So for me, look at it. They did their job. That's what we are saying about the serious team. They did their job against Lesotho. The game was delayed because of lighting. They got back and they won 4-0.
Nigeria's qualification is like the camel going through the eye of the
Have
needle.
you seen the rankings for the second place?
Yeah,
They should
I've
put
seen
it up
it.
and let's show Nigerians that, hey, you guys are just saying we could not beat South Africa. Let's see what's going to happen with the second place. There's a certain Gabon with 19 points, I guess.
Yeah.
19 points, and they are second. We are not meeting Gabon. That is one.
See, we didn't even play our politics. Because I think if you look at the groups, the groups in the World Cup qualifiers of Africa, I can see a group where was it Eritrea and Sudan together? Yeah. So 2 teams in the group were not even doing anything. They were walkover.
They walkover.
So
are you saying they should have put Nigeria? Even if they have put Nigeria, they will still struggle.
At least let them put them there first.
No.
Because it's on your advantage. Because why? Okay, for instance, you have those kind of groups. Why was Lesotho and Zimbabwe not spread into those kind of groups?
Okay, but now you have Lesotho and Zimbabwe in your groups. Yeah. They did not have FIFA standard, CAF standard stadium, right? They shifted their games to South Africa.
Why not spread them to those groups?
If this Zimbabwe one, I'm even particular about this Zimbabwe one. Zimbabwe played Nigeria in Rwanda. They played us in Rwanda, not even in South Africa, and we were not able to beat them. Benin Republic played us in Ivory Coast. We lost to Benin Republic, and South Africa went there to beat them. So this is not even about the stadiums or the pitches or wherever they play the games. It's just about Nigeria's inability to do anything. So even if they had put us in a group with Seychelles, haven't you struggled against Central African Republic before? It's just a shame. We are now a mid-African team. We are not the Giants of Africa. We are the midget team.
This is a team that went to the final, and they didn't find it difficult qualifying for the African Cup of Nations. They played African teams as well. It was seamless. So what is about the World Cup qualifiers? Is it different African teams that play the qualifiers for the Nations Cup? It shows you that a lot goes into World Cup qualifiers.
Maybe they are just okay with being local champions.
No, it's not about that.
Okay with being local champions. It's not the same effort,
Maiwa, I think it's a lot that goes. As far as World Cup qualifiers, I've said it before. World Cup qualifiers is a different ball game. You have to be ready to play the politics. Even the officiating yesterday, I saw bad officiating at the highest level. Yeah, you're officiating a lot of questions.
You're just trying to paper over cracks. There was no bad officiating. You are not. You're not talking about the game.
The thing is this: we never took the World Cup qualification serious. Remember, leading to the Nations Cup, the reason why a lot of people were clamoring for Pasero's head was because of the performances of the World Cup qualifiers we had played before the Nations Cup, and before we started getting to the thick of the games. As at that particular time, we still had an opportunity to be able to, change the result and qualify. However, our lack of organization deterred us from qualifying. There was a whole lot of distraction, at the background that's affecting everybody. And, a typical example, you never appointed Finidi George until 3 days or 4 days to a crucial World Cup qualifier game. It took you 11 or you brought Pasero, you fired Pasero, you don't have a coach. You fired Pasero, bring Pasero back, did a failed follow-up with him, and let him go again. And we were coachless for another, after 2 matches with Finidi George, you sacked him. We were coachless again, appointed Eguavoen. Eguavoen was not even sure of what would happen to him. Then, before you started, appointed another coach 11 months after. I think the qualifying group we are in was one of the easiest qualifying groups we would have probably been. The only team that probably gave us a headache was supposed to be South Africa, but because we didn't prepare adequately, because there was a whole lot of distraction in the background, because the NFF do not know what they are doing, that is the reason why we found ourselves in this situation. Even if they had paired us with Sao Tome and Principe, we would have struggled again. How do we explain drawing a Lesotho? How do we explain it? With the kind of quality we have. So the bottom line is because of the lack of preparation. That is the reason why we are where we are at the moment. And we can't blame any other person. We blame the NFF. The NFF is the root cause of this issue. If Gusau knew he was not given a free hand to do the job, he should have resigned. And the same way is, criticizing people criticizing players less than 24 hours after the debacle against South Africa. The same way is criticizing everybody in the press. He should have done the same thing to those holding him back to do the job. If we have to believe that. As far as I'm concerned, it's Gusau.
We're pressed for time. We have to wrap it up. Coach, can we still qualify? All right, coach is out. Okay. Definitely time really fast spent. And the fact that Osimhen didn't play much of the games, is he also a very, very big factor?
So without Osimhen, we cannot negotiate Lesotho and Rwanda and Zimbabwe. Is that what
Let's look at the games we won.
I mean, even without an NFF, quality should shine. I mean, look at Morocco, look at their group.
Come on, Morocco is above when it comes to organization.
Are they having better players than us?
They have better organization.
Are they having better
you
players?
You don't have better
us?
if you have
Morocco
good organization.
Doesn't even perform in the AFCON.
If you have good organization, that's you have just stating the obvious.
Okay.
If you have good organization, you don't need to have Osimhen and the likes. If you have good organization like South Africa has now, you don't need to have the kind of players Nigeria has to do well.
Do you know South Africa?
This South Africa team we are talking about, Hugo Bruce has been there for a long time.
Do you know most of their players are actually playing in their own league?
That's what I'm saying, organization. If you are organized, you don't have to struggle.
Exactly. So
without organization.
This is where the NFF comes in. Yeah. But now, even with this lack of organization from NFF, these players they are bringing are still players that should negotiate group A.
Without a good coach. With Finidi George cancelling out players and bringing in Tanimu. Okay. So wait, now bringing in Tanimu would have helped our situation.
Okay, let me ask you this.
And having issues with players.
Did Eritrea get to, was that the quarterfinals of AFCON with Mali? Yeah. The Malian team?
Mali is better organized. Eritrea was in charge for a while before even that Nations Cup. He played a lot of qualifiers without losing any prior to that Nations Cup.
Anyway, we don't have excuses. And to be honest, I don't know why you're not asking me that question if you are still going to qualify. But you know my answer.
I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best in that. We have to wrap it up. My one, big thanks for being a part of the show. And big thanks, Coach, for also being a part of the show. And of course, Hafiz as well. We'll be back again with more action on Locker Room when we join you once again. And of course, a big thanks to the guys behind the scene for making sure the show great.